Let's discuss this nuclear debate. Let's bring in now tonight's political panel, National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie and the Menzies Research Centre Executive Director Dave Hughes. Welcome to you both. Bridget, do you think this is a gamble worth taking for the coalition?
Absolutely, Sharri, and I really loved your opening segment. We don't see it as a gamble. We see it as providing a credible vision for a safe and prosperous, sustainable future for our country. We're not just interested in getting to net zero by 2050. We still want to be a sovereign country that can not just keep the lights on, but have a fantastic economic growth story in the coming century. And that means having affordable, reliable baseload power generation. Now, with 90% of that reliable baseload going off in the next decade, we need something to replace it. And wind and solar aren't going to do it. We know that. And I'm very, very proud to be part of a team that is putting Australia where it should have been during Howard's years and actually harnessing the opportunity that nuclear power generation brings in a low emissions future.
Oh, Dave, just how big a risk this is for the coalition ultimately comes down to the current view of Australians and whether they are going to support this. Can you tell us a bit about what some of the recent polls have shown about whether Australians do support a move towards nuclear?
A lot has changed since that scare campaign that Anthony Albanese ran in 2007. Back then, 60% of Australians were opposed to nuclear energy. In 2024, 60% of Australians support nuclear energy. We know that because the Lowy Institute has been tracking this issue for a number of years. Labor voters as well support nuclear energy. There was a poll from Jim Reid,
Labor
who runs
premiers.
some of them. There was a poll from Jim Reid, who runs Resolve Strategic, recently as well, that showed that only 28% of Labor voters were opposed to nuclear energy. So the grounds for a scare campaign are significantly different than they were in 2007. So that's something that Anthony Albanese needs to factor in. He also needs to factor in that if he's running a scare campaign around nuclear safety, that scare campaign also undermines the AUKUS submarines that are going to be docked in Adelaide and in Perth, our nuclear reactor that's operated safely not too far from us in southwestern Sydney as well. So he's going to have to be conscious of that if he's looking to run another scare campaign.
And do you think, though, this is going to be a big political risk? I mean, you ran at least the media section of the Liberal Party's last federal election campaign, or the past couple. Do you think this is a big gamble for the coalition?
Well, it's going to dominate. It's going to be one of the issues that's going to dominate the next campaign, that's for sure. Peter Dutton's been open about this, though, for the last year. And in that same time, his vote has strengthened and Anthony Albanese's vote's been declining. And I think younger Australians in particular aren't, they place facts above fear as well. They're more open to nuclear as well. So I think they're going to be persuaded by the facts in this argument and not spooked by three-eyed fish and everything else that Labor will roll out.